kick return unit. This is Holmes from the 5 to the 25-yard line, and he's still there, and the Rams will start under the tutelage of their fine starting quarterback today. And we say starter only because we see Mark Saldana for the first series. They are really equal, Saldana and his backup David Salmon. They alternate every series, but it's Saldana's game from the opening kick today. He's a 5'11", 165-pound senior. They don't do much passing at all. They have averaged only 35 yards per game. They've only thrown 3 touchdown passes all year. And right away on the ground, gouging out about 6 is the fullback Reza. 6 foot 212-pounder. The Ram offense was Saldana, Holmes, and Reza in the backfield. Ormond is the wingback, and Hoffman and Rasmussen in the 2 tight end sets. And up front, they are big. Cravens, Brown, Harms, Wilson, and Jaramillo average 219 pounds. And if you believe the programs, which David Byzantine doesn't, they are 38 pounds per man bigger than the Panther defensive line. Off left tackle, first down, as again Reza got the call. Tony Perez made the tackle. The Panther defense, Daniels, Moreno, Brooks, and Sims. The linebackers, Tucker, Comer, and Collins. Kelly, Perez, Wagner, and Pedersen in their secondary. And they don't give up yards easily. 154 total yards allowed per game. 1 touchdown per game on average in their 15 victories. First time we see Holmes, quick pitch, and spilled at the 41. Tucker from strong side linebacker, 62, making the stop on Anthony Holmes. And you see his numbers, and Craig, if he hadn't been hurt 4 games, in which they were just 2-2, he might have set the 5A single-season rushing record this year.
Well, and a lot of that has to go to the credit of his fullback, Reza, 35, who's leading the way on this toss sweep. Holmes has a lot of speed and finesse about him. Like we said in the open, he can get outside and create and find the open lanes. Good vision for a ball carrier.
He got 3, 2nd and 7, Reza spinning only to the 43, and it'll be the first big 3rd down situation for Marshall. Holmes at 180, Reza at 212, and Reza bigger than any defender that Panther defensive coaches can send out there. 5 yards per carry, 19 touchdowns. He is a junior, and he may be their bell cow runner next year.
I think the key is what you said is what they put in the program. I think they take their weights at Permian their sophomore year, and they just kind of keep it that way and never upgrade.
So 3rd and 5, and it's Holmes. And a big hole in the first down. Panther territory at the 45. David Byzantine says if we play what really also amounts to Permian football, control the ball and thereby control the clock, that's their method for the state championship.
Holmes really likes to stretch defenses. They pull the guard, they pull the fullback, go all around to the right side, and the first sign of daylight, he gets up into the crease. North and south, running behind his shoulder pads, and he's a solid runner.
Great strength. He is their strongest in the leg press of anybody on their team. This is Reza, might have stretched forward for a half yard or so. Tucker and Comer up from linebacker, combining for the tackle.
So much is said about Permian and mentioned about Mojo, but San Antonio's a pretty good ways from Mojo Magic Land, and I don't think they take into consideration a lot of that. This is just a good ball club, Marshall is, that has gotten there. Nice defensive technique by Permian, reading what's going to happen, but it's important that Marshall stays with that game plan, inside and then outside.
Ball at no gain in 2nd and 10. Again, toss sweep, Holmes, cut back, and to the 31-yard line for the first down. You saw the leg strength there. Also strong upper body, great vision, great cutback ability, and he will have his pick of college football to play. He can go about anywhere he wants.
Well, I heard that John Makovic from the University of Texas, their new head coach, he's here in attendance today along with the other offensive assistants. Look at this. Now the hole is one step closer to the center. Everybody had gotten outside by Permian, he saw the hole open up really where the guard had originated. Great vision.
First down, this steady march after the opening kick, now to the 28-yard line on Raises. 2 or 3-yard dive. Sam Brooks, the right defensive tackle on the stop. Byzantine puts a lot of pressure on his guards today. Mark Brown on the left side and Doug Wilson on the right side, because Hollingshead's defense, with their lack of size, however big they are, plays great technique football, great fundamentals, and Brown and Wilson will have to control their tackles. So far, so good. Holmes again, big hole again, and he is inside the 20-yard line. Another first down. Middle linebacker Comer, left corner Kelly on the tackle.
The left guard 75 pulls and kicks out, and once again the hole is inside. The problem for Permian is if they stay inside, then he'll take the top sweep all the way around the perimeter. Just a good job of executing their offense. Marshall very poised, and it looks like they come from the huddle saying, fellas, we have confidence.
The 11th play of the drive. Reza to the 18. Very active start for Michael Comer, the middle linebacker, 200-pound junior. What they like to do is start Holmes and then follow up with Reza. After Holmes has loosened up the defense, they have accounted for 70% of the total offensive yards the Rams have rolled up this year. Reza, by the way, playing with the broken hand. He broke his hand in the first quarter of the Aldine game on a Mustang helmet last week. They said, I just hope they don't throw to me. Handoffs I can handle. Obviously. 2nd and 10, Holmes to the 14. And we'll have our second challenging 3rd down situation for Marshall.
Permian's got to find a way to slow down that toss sweep to the right side. The play before, Reza, it was the fullback toss sweep over to the weak side of the formation. So therefore, you've got to really be justified on both sides if you're a defensive player. Here the hole is inside, and maybe Holmes could have kept his feet up, jumped through the air and kept that, but it's still positive yardage, and it moves the chains or helps to continue the progress of the chain.
Holmes to the 9. This is going to be very close. He needed 5 and looks to have gotten at least 4.5. The strong side end, Tony Daniels, made the tackle.
The old wing T, they come over. It's a power play over on the right side. Somewhat like a sweep, toss sweep effect over there. And they're just dominating the right side. And the left on the right side of the offensive line is doing such a good job of handling Permian's left defensive front.
David Byzantine needs about 2 feet on 4th down. And they will go for it out of the full house. And they've got it. On about a 2-yard pickup, Reza has 1st and goal. Efrain Moreno, the left tackle, made to stop. That's confidence right out of the gate for David Byzantine.
And I think he realizes he needs to make that kind of call at this point in the ball game. Marshall's the underdog. They've been the underdog. They're used to that. The spoiler role they have been playing. So by calling that play, he's sending a message to the Mojo fans, to Permian players, and to his own team saying, fellas, we're going after Mojo.
Just to make it official, the chains brought in, and it is 1st and goal from the 9. Eddie Parsley, by the way, today's referee.
Number 35, you see Reza, the power man, runs through the tackler. Knows exactly what he's got to get. You go with your 215-pound back and make sure you pick up the 1 yard.
Byzantine has been in the finals as an assistant. 1972 for Louisville. They lost the 3A championship game and 5 first downs on this 14-play drive. 1st and goal pitch, Holmes creates his own space there and picks up about 4 down to the 5. Daniels on the stop along with Pedersen up from Rover.
One of the question marks on Holmes throughout the season was his size, 5'10", 175, 180. But since he's been into the playoffs, he has just been on a tear and a mission, and he has come out and shown that at a higher level of competition, he is able to match that and exceed what they're giving him on the opposing team.
The only team that has held him under 160 yards was last week. He got 48 against Albany. He may be close to that by the end of the first quarter. 4:13 to go, second and goal. And it is Reza to the 1-yard line. Dragging 3 or 4 white jersey Panthers with him to set up third and goal.
Permian is going to slant to the inside with their defensive line. Reza 35 sees that. He bounces kind of to the outside. Now this is where you come into guts and determination and drive. Watch the determination to get to the goal line by the ball carrier.
Full house behind Saldana on third and goal. Reza for the touchdown. Decision to gamble on the fourth down pays off for Byzantine, and the Rams, and the kick by Jason Briggs is good. 7-0 Marshall. They take the opening kick and take the early lead.
Pretty strong signal that they've sent over. Power football. Offensive lineman come off, match up with your man, the 212-pound ball carrier, Reza. He's got a clean shot to the end zone.
7-0 Marshall, with the Rams on top. We'll be right back. 7-0, 3:31 to play first quarter. Permian not used to being in this situation. Only 4 times all year did they ever trail in the first quarter. And the return from the 19 up the left side with an alley to the 38-yard line. Allen Strambler sets up the Panthers in good shape. And with the score, 7-0 Marshall. We'll be right back after this message from our local station.
16 plays, 74 yards. And look at the time of possession. So important that they keep the ball away from Permian's balanced offensive attack.
Scrambler with a 21-yard return has the Panthers set up at the 38-yard line after Reza's 25th touchdown this year. And the Panther wing T, they break it actually with both wideouts on the right side. And Case with the pitch to Hamilton. Big yardage up the middle, and he lost it. And a Ram recovery at the 33-yard line. It is Mike Gann on the Hamilton fumble. First turnover in 3 games for Permian.
How good you are of a ball club. When you get to a championship game, you cannot afford to turn the football over and stay in the match. We see a good run up inside, and then he's hit. Number 25 hits him with a ball. Siebert, which is a big play man for them in the secondary, and then an outstanding job by number 21, Mike Gann, coming up, just getting on the football.
Hollingshead trailing and sees his team coughs it up, down 7-0. We'll be right back after this message from our local scrimmage. And the return from the 33, and number 33, Holmes, on first down, as we see the second quarterback for the Rams, David Salmon. And again, they will alternate every series. Saldana started, so in all probability, Salmon will open the second half, and they'll go back and forth series by series.
Both quarterbacks, good, solid performers. Nobody usually overshadows the other one. And the quarterbacks, they're friends, and they understand the situation, and they've gone along with it throughout the season.
Salmon admits it was a sophomore 2 years ago. He had trouble with the concept, and he quit for 1 year. Came back last year and accepted. You see his numbers and flags down. Movement on the right side of the Marshall line. The tackle, Tommy Jaramillo. So was 2nd and 8. Now turns into 2nd and 13. Today's game being carried on radio statewide by Diamond Shamrock Oil Company. Diamond Shamrock has carried the 4A and 5A football playoffs since 1966. Out of the eye this time. Holmes dropped for a loss at the 21. First man to get there, Will Wagner from safety, and quickly joined by Tony Perez, and that's a different Panther defense than we saw in that first drive.
It's called team pursuit. 11 white jerseys all around the football. The toss sweep to the left side. It has been successful to the right. This time they've gotten into the backfield, and all the Mojo Panthers were in the backfield trying to slow down Holt. That's good teams for pursuit.
Loss of 7. And so 3rd and 20 for the Rams. Clock rolling inside a minute 40, first quarter. Again out of the eye. And they run the reverse. Siebert lets it fly, and it will be overthrown, intended for Jason Briggs with a flag down at the line of scrimmage. Let's go down to Dan Debenham on the sidelines.
Thanks a lot, guys. We talked about it at the top of the show. Size versus speed. In the initial drive for the Rams, it was all their size. Now in the second drive, it has been all of Permian speed. One other quick note. Last week, N.D. Kalu, the defensive man for the Rams that made the big hit on Aldine. Defense will play a key, thus the fumble. Let's see what happens. Back upstairs to you guys.
Well, as you saw, holding called on the Siebert incompletion to Briggs. Siebert, by the way, defensively, the man who caused the Hamilton fumble. And so 4th and 20, and Sean Noster on to punt. And the Panthers play for the return. Permian bounce, and they will have it set up at the Marshall 46-yard line. And 1 minute, 13 seconds to go, first quarter. At the conclusion of the game, Craig and I select the MVP for this year's 5A Division II championship game. Here's the way they got here. 13-2 for the Rams. Of course, those 2 losses without Holmes. A perfect 15-0 slate for the Panthers. And statistically, they are both dominant. Both depending mainly on the run. Case the better passer. And when he passes, he usually doesn't mess around. He averages nearly 20 yards per completion. Hamilton again, big yardage up the middle. And close for a first down at the 35 before Will Flowers finally wrapped him up. We finally get a chance to look at the Panther offense with Case, Hamilton, and Williams. Bergen is the wingback, Daniels the tight end, and Kendrick Parrott is the wideout. Up front, they go with Cochran, Sims, James, Lubin, and Lockie. And it is a first down. They list Hamilton at 192. Visiting says add about 20 pounds to that. This is Williams for the first time, and he is at the 31-yard line, belted by Flowers at 170. A better matchup for Williams than he is for the big Hamilton. Now the Marshall defense, Canyon, Mazer, Junick, and Kalu up front. The linebackers, Robinson, Short, Noster, and Gann. And then their secondary, Flowers, Siebert, and Fuchik. Williams for 3, 2nd and 7, 32-yard line.
Will Flowers, oh man, what a message he sent from the secondary of Marshall on that hit.
Walking back, Michael Comer in to lead the sweep. Williams caught from behind by the nose tackle, Junick. Also Gann up, and that will do it for the first quarter. Junick, the 270-pound nose tackle with good penetration.
And the play here is made by number 21, Mike Gann. He took out 2 blockers by himself. The ball comes loose, but it was down on the ground. The ground caused the fumble, which could call the of the officials.
So the end of the first quarter with our score, Marshall 7, Permian other car. For the second quarter, they tackling the ball. They forced one turnover, almost forced another one.
Well, their defense throughout the season has created 38 turnovers for this ball club, so I wouldn't be surprised if they're going for the football, trying to strip it from them, eliminate the concentration of the ball carriers at Permian, and try to put some confusion in their mind.
What they did in the first quarter obviously working, and Permian now trying to drive and tie it up. We look at the numbers at the end of the first quarter. 6 first downs, all on the touchdown drive, which lasted 8.5 minutes. The possession time, 10:23 to 1:37.
One of our keys to the game was for Marshall to keep the ball in their own offensive hands. So obviously, if you don't have the football with 1:37 each quarter, you won't score too many points.
The only games in which Permian did not score the first quarter against a couple of Amarillo teams, Amarillo High and Tascosa. 3rd and 7. Case out of the hands of Will Wagner, is top target on a wingback. Flowers was there with the coverage, and that one just inches long. Case 50% during the playoffs, almost 50% during the regular season.
So much emphasis is placed on the running game of Permian, trying to get in there and slow it down. Hamlin's been successful early on, that he almost is able to get behind everybody, yet it just wasn't there. Wagner just couldn't quite reach out and get the ball.
See if they decide on 4th and 7, and they decide to go for it. Wagner in motion. And Case again looks for him, has him, touchdown. Will Wagner's 10th touchdown catch of the year. He was open on the incompletion. They said if he can do it once, let's go right back to it. They pushed for 6.
I guess you could call it mojo magic.
7-6 as Wells out of Case's hold. We'll go for the PAT. 72 of 76 this year. Wells, the highest scoring kicker in a single season in Panther history. That's his 106th point this year.
I mean, did go back was basically the same play that they had run on 3rd down. It was just overthrown. So you would think that the secondary would be able to recognize this. You want to look at the offensive linemen. They raise straight up so you know it's play action pass. They go out. Will Wagner's behind everybody. And Case can't throw the football. 22nd touchdown pass of the season. And a nice job of recognizing where his ball player was going to be.
So with our score 7-all, we will be right back at Texas Stadium.
Trading as an offensive unit, it's going to be the play action pass. Therefore, you look straight over to number 10, Will Wagner. You've got to find him, and if you're number 25, you cannot get behind him. Todd Siebert normally not fooled. That time he came up trying to be too aggressive in supporting the run.
So the Panthers tied on a 5-play, 46-yard drive, minute and a half on the 31-yard connection. Willie Case brings him back. The second quarter has been the Panthers' quarter all year. They dominate every period, but especially the second. 190-10 coming into this game. The split kick returned to the 35-yard line. Bottom of the pile was Curtis Ormond. And Marshall, which did anything they wanted in their opening drive and then marched backwards the second time they had it. Now, obviously, realizing that they got the Panthers' attention.
I think Permian coaches now, they're such a good, solid coaching staff. They've been together since they all started in the junior high system, the feeder system, and supports the high school level. They make adjustments on the sidelines. They talk, communicate with their players, and they're trying to figure out how to stop that toss sweep that Marshall's been so effective with.
Saldana's turn. And the give to Holmes. Comer from middle linebacker sticks him after a gain of 2. Let's go again down to Dan Debenham.
Thanks a lot. One thing to keep in mind about that scoring touchdown pass by the Permian Panthers. Gilgerard normally lines up in the wingback position, but he sprained his ankle last week against Waco. Will Wagner, I was told last night by the coaching staff, will come in only on designated throwing downs. So look for that in the future. If number 10 lines up in the wingback position, look for a rollout, a throw to him along the sidelines. Back to you guys.
Give him 4, 2nd and 6. And again, Holmes. Hey, Craig, you get it. Since the opening drive, he's had to do it on his own. The holes have not been as wide open as they were.
That quick Permian defensive front unit is getting into the backfield. He's having to avoid one person in the backfield, fight, trying to get the yardage that, and coming up with 2nd down and 3rd down and 2, it looks good, but all on his own.
Reminder, coming up at the half, Craig and I will recap all the highlights of the first half. We'll also check with Dan on the field and feature some great halftime shows from the Ram and Panther bands. Plus, we see what's new at the Texas High School Football Hall of Fame. It's all coming up at halftime. 10:22 to go. Reza will not get the first down. Perez and Comer on the tackle, and as undersized as they are, the Panthers have to go with emotion over power. And from the first series on, the emotion has overpowered the size advantage that Marshall has up front.
The only thing one of the big things that can kill the running game is penetration into the backfield. That time, the offensive lineman, number 75, Mark Brown, was in the backfield. He's got to come off, stay lower than the man in front of him, and not allow any penetration.
Noster's 2nd kick of the day. This one much better. Fair catch, 17-yard line for Wagner. And the Panthers will try to break the tie. We'll score 7-7. We'll be right back after this message from our local station. Even matchup, and so far it has been. 7-all, 9:31 to go first half. Permian taking over through 17 after a 39-yard kick by Sean Noster. The total yardage just about as even as the score. Leaping past the line to the 25. That's about 8 yards on first down. The safety, Mark Fuchik, 6'3", 195-pound senior, made the tackle. Hamilton averaging this year right at 6.5 yards per carry.
And they're doing the same thing that Marshall did on the opening drive, stretching the defense, allowing Hamilton, the ball carrier, to find a way to get back into the crease and find the daylight.
That's the 3rd best year any Permian back has ever had. Byzantine said he's the great mixture of power and speed. Power inside, speed to get outside. Williams, the sophomore, bounces off the pile. Finally wrapped up at the 20 by Gann. Loss of 5. Gann up from strong outside linebacker.
You talk about team pursuit. It's a misdirection play. The OT counter really going to the right side. Guard tackle pulling, trying to kick out over there. And then everybody from Marshall tries to get to the football. Big play by Marshall at this end of the field to shut him down on that play.
Gann finished him off. The guy that set him backwards was the strong inside linebacker, number 60, Howard Short, in his 3rd and 7. Wagner in motion. Case looking that way. Will keep. Break a tackle and lose the ball. And the Rams have it at the 29. Todd Siebert caused the fumble and now covers the fumble. And Greg, this just does not happen to Permian. Again, they didn't turn it over the last 2 games. They win because they win the turnover battle, and they lost it so far.
They scored on the touchdown receiver. This time, Case, it looks like he's going to have a good job of just getting it all on his own, but number 71 comes from behind, strips the ball, and alertness on the defense, their 40th turnover defensively this year.
Hebert recovers, and with the hit, it really looked like Case lost it on his own. 1 or 2 that time for Carlos Reza. And this is something the Rams have got to cash in. You don't get this many chances 29 yards away of the Panther goal line. We have 7:35 in the half. Pauling says team trailed after the opening kick 7-0. Quickly tied it. And now in trouble. That really looked like Case, perhaps victimized by slippery football.
And as you made a point of earlier, it looks like the ball players might be going for it with their hands tackling the football.
Anthony Holmes, great balance to the 20, close for a first down. Steve Kelly on the tackle again to Dan Debenham.
Thanks a lot, guys. Listen, we've been talking about it. The ball is popping loose out there on the field. Interestingly enough, here behind the Panthers bench is a heater. What's in the box? Ball. These are game balls. The heater's there trying to keep the balls warm and dry. Apparently, it is not helping the Permian Panthers right now, though. So the heat is on here on the sideline. It remains to be seen if they will turn the heat on out there on the field. Back to you guys.
Good point, Dan, but also you got to take into account when you put that heat on the ball, it becomes slick, a slick surface and a cool atmosphere.
3rd and 1, full house. Holmes first down. Holmes touchdown. Holmes' eyes had to bug out when he had his choice of holes. What a job by Cravens, Brown, Harms, Wilson, and Aramillo up front. He could have gone anywhere he wanted.
Talking about his eyes bugging out, I jump out of my seat in this booth. What a great move in the secondary to slide through 2 defenders.
Mason Briggs makes it 14-7 Martha. Holmes, it's his 24th touchdown this year. It's his 80th yard today on his 14th carry.
Being opportunistic. As an offensive team, your defense gives it to you. Big cutback hole to the inside. He does that. Now watch the move here. Excellent vision, knowing somebody's going for his feet, picking his legs up, and I know this. Every college recruiter in this stadium just jumped up and down saying, oh, I hope he considers something.
Their eyes are as wide as his. On the Rams, on top, 14-7. We will be right back. The excitement of Texas high school football, every snap, every sack, every score. The 5A championships are now on home video. High school football at its best. Call 1-800-847-6993 to order your tape now. All major credit cards accepted, or send check or money order to the address on the screen. You'll never have to wait till Friday night again for hard-hitting football Texas style. Just call 1-800-847-6993. Don't miss this opportunity. Call now.
Permian coaches have got to be on the sideline telling their backside players, once you see the play going there, you've got to come down the line of scrimmage to cut off the backside cutoff play from Holmes. He's a cutback runner.
You know what he looks like on that run? Eric Dickerson. You would know. Now, is that an apt comparison or not?
Yeah, with those shoulder, those pads from behind flopping in the breeze there as he goes down to score.
He just gets the mask on the eyes. He'll have the whole look.
Putting some goggles on.
Yeah. Henry Woods will kick it off. Long hopper return from the 21 out to the 34, maybe the 35-yard line by Bubba Jones. And again, Permian in the unaccustomed position of having it come from behind. 6:16 to play first half. They haven't had the ball enough to really show what they're about, which is grinding out ball control.
Yeah, they turned the ball over twice. That halted 2 drives. Marshall took advantage of the last one, goes in and scores.
It was the Case fumble that led to this go-ahead touchdown on Holmes' 20-yard scamper. Homer in motion. man through. And leaning forward for an extra yard or two, Hamilton brought down by Howard Short.
Marshall's got such a strong defense. They've only allowed 100 rushing yards per game on the ground, 73 through the air. They're very much like Permian. Stingy on defense, not allowing many points scored a ball game. Only 8 throughout the season. They've only allowed 19 points to be scored throughout the playoffs. Had 3 shutouts in 5 games.
Canyon sums up their philosophy. He says, all we try to do is hit people harder than they've ever been hit before. Hamilton again, out of an ankle tackle. Ball might be loose again. Rams reacting as if they pounced on another fumble. Short was there, along with Noster. And they say, still Permian ball. Bring up third down and long 5.
I'm a firm believer that a ball club can create opportunities for themselves. Now watch number 38 in the middle of your screen, Hamilton, the ball carrier. As he gets up and then back into the lane, you'll see that people will pull towards the football. They want to get it out of there. One hand goes to the ball. People reaching up off the ground. As a ball carrier today for Permian, you better put 2 hands around it.
Hamilton did. Held on to it. Case to the air on third down. Wagner, this will be close. The spot will tell the story. Siebert was right on him. And Byzantine wants Todd Siebert to follow Will Wagner wherever he goes today. First down.
And with that kind of hit there, Will Wagner's hoping that he kind of forgets where he's at. Excellent concentration. A big league catch right here by Wagner. Holding on to the football, hand strength and all. I mean, that's part of being a Permian football player. If you're not tough, you don't even go out and ask for a shoulder pad or a headgear. You just stay at home.
Hamilton, well contained, and he might have lost one. First man up, Gann. He's had a very active half. Noster, the other outside linebacker, quickly there. We go under the 4-minute mark. Let's pause 5 seconds for our local stations to identify themselves. This is TVG Sports. Texas Stadium in Irving, Dave Barnett, Craig James, and Dan Debenham. In the Division II UIL 5A championship game, Marshall 14, Permian 7. As we get down near the 3.5-minute mark of the second quarter, loss of 1 bring up second of 11. Very evenly matched teams. Turnovers the difference here in the first half. Case again for Wagner, in and out of his hands. He had first down yardage. Noster and Fuchik had the coverage. Mazer with penetration. And a big play. As the Panthers try to drive for the tying touchdown before halftime, they'll need 11 on third down.
Obviously, Case likes to roll to his left side and flood that over there. He does a nice job of squaring his shoulders up, but you're going to have now folks staying all over Will Wagner. They're going to double him underneath as well as into the 15-yard area.
Case has done it through the year this year. Around 300 yards of the best season any Permian quarterback has ever had. His brother Stoney right there, second on that list. 2 years ago, Stoney led an undefeated march to the championship, which ended here in Texas Stadium. Stormy tries to match him today. On the blitz, middle screen, Wagner. Gann wraps him up. He'll be close for a first down. And the clock rolls down to 3:05 and a half.
What an excellent call by the Permian coaches. You know you've got an aggressive defense coming. They do read it. Number 60, he almost be able to come back and tip the ball. But Wagner, he knows where that first down marker is. He does all he can to get there, and I don't know.
That is Kalu coming with the penetration, the Nigerian Nightmare. Junik, the nose tackle, gave him that nickname.
That's the kind of deal you're glad that it's a wet carpet if you're the quarterback. Saves your fanny from getting the old rug burn there.
On the measurement, this is inches one way or the other, and not quite, so it'll be 4th and inches.
Tough call here. If you do not make it and somebody slides through a penetration before you go into the halftime, you almost give them a chance at a pretty good chance to score.
Marshall calls time. They want to be prepared for whatever Permian has. And if they don't get it, there's plenty of time. Marshall will have almost 3 minutes to try and go up 21-7 at halftime.
One of the things that Marshall coaches will want to say here during this timeout is, fellas, they might not be going for this ball. Do not jump off sides and give them the first down. Make sure that you remind yourselves of your keys. Read your alignment as it play action pass. Keep everybody inside if it's a running game. Penetration will kill them on the running game.
One of the things that Permian faces that Marshall doesn't is the pressure of having to come through in this situation. This season is already an amazing success for the Rams because they've gone farther than any Marshall team ever. Permian gets here an average of every 3 years. They have won 4, tied for another championship. And with those high expectations, as good a season as they've had at 15-0, it won't be a complete success if they don't finish the undefeated march today. Down to Dan again.
Thanks a lot, guys. You know, we haven't talked about the Panthers. They're known as Mojo. Very few people know them as the Permian Panthers. They're known as Mojo. It's a mystique. Something that goes back to 1965, the first time they won a state championship. They were called on by Mojo. Some say it's an ancient Indian term. Others say that it meant more juice, just shortened up. Right now, they need more juice. 4th down and short. Let's see how they do. Back up to you guys.
Nothing fancy, and Hamilton has the first. Slams to the 44. That actually is a multiple choice question. If you ask somebody, where did the name Mojo come from? In the book Friday Night Lights, which chronicles the history of Permian football, the theory that makes the most sense is there are a couple of fans who were perhaps overserved. And H.G. Vissinger said they started chanting out of the Motown lyric, Mojo, Mojo, a song popular at that time back in the early 60s, and it caught on, and from that, different versions of the legends have emerged. Sweet stops the clock at the 44 on a carry by John Williams, 2:32 and a half. First sophomore ever to have a 1,000-yard year. He didn't become a starter until week 14, just 2 weeks ago. Prior to that, he backed up Tim Ross. But his numbers made that a pretty easy decision for Hollingshead. He's averaged nearly 9 yards per carry.
And you wonder where these guys come from. I mean, Odessa's out, it's in the middle part of Texas, or the western part of the state.
Won't grow big, but they do love their football. Play action for Case. Deep again for Wagner. And dropped at the 7. He had beaten Fuchik and Flowers. Case put it right on the button that time.
Will Wagner's just taking off and going deep, straight up the field, trying to bust through the 2-deep zone there. Will Flowers at the last moment just shoves Wagner and keeps the ball from being completed. Plenty of time, no pressure. That's a result of all the running that they've been doing in the game. You'll see number 3, Wagner, just at the Flowers at the last moment, reach out and shove Flowers.
Grab that left elbow, and it's 3rd and 10. 2:26 first half. Williams comes in motion. Hamilton with a block. Case delivers. Intercepted. Howard Short with another Marshall takeaway. Three first-half turnovers. 2 by Case, a fumble, and here the interception. And Short read it perfectly.
They've tried to run this pass play 4, 5, or 6 times already in the first half. Now the defense is getting smart. As he sees what's going on, Case tries to get his shoulders squared up, but that's such a difficult throw to get any velocity on the football.
Intended for his tight end Daniels. Rams take over. Holmes spins. And on the second effort, Mike might get back to the line of scrimmage. Third turnover of the half. This is something that Permian just does not do. On the year, they were plus 15 in the giveaway takeaway game.
Not only does it affect the scoreboard psychologically, it really boosts the team. They go out there and they realize that they've turned the ball over. They're having success on defense. It boosts everybody. Special teams, offense, coaching staff, fans.
Saldana, quarterback, 2nd and 10. Holmes again tries to go and toughen the flag down on what ought to be a face mask. They give him the 45-yard line. The clock stopped at about 32. Against Permian. That defense last week forced 3 fumbles. They converted them all for touchdowns. Opposite is the case today.
Tony Daniels got into the backfield and did just an outstanding job of disrupting the play. Number 62 reaches out, and Brian Tucker's guilty of the face mask.
So right at midfield. Second and a long 3. A team that is more used to going through the air probably would here. A minute 15 and counting, but again, Marshall averages only 35 yards a game through the passing attack. And raised up for a couple of, apparently will elect to grind it out and settle for the 14-7 halftime lead. And Greg, if that's the case, then Permian can't feel all that bad. Only down 7.
Very fortunate to be there, and the touchdown comes on 4th and 7. I mean, they have to convert that. It's a big play. Well, they're down 14-7.
Only 2 teams scored in the second quarter against Permian all year. Amarillo, Tascosa, and San Angelo. That might be close to the first down, but we also might not have time for another play. They have 2 timeouts. Haven't elected to use them, and now official timeouts to check on the measurement with 21 seconds and a half.
Permian's the team that needs to use one of the timeouts. In case it is short, then they force them to punt. And who knows what happens. Ball slick.
Now, they haven't gone after a block yet, but it's definitely in their arsenal. As Hollingshead looks on, second-year head coach. 22-2-1. By a nose, first down. Every Permian head coach since 1965, that's 4 different coaches, have won a state championship.
Do you think there's any pressure in being the head coach at Permian? I mean, it's going to be a happy Christmas for a lot of coaches just to be here. If you lose and you're a Permian head coach, it's a miserable 91.
Most coaches, if you get to the playoffs, you're safe for a couple of years. Anthony Holmes, 45-yard line. Well, he looks more and more like Eric Dickerson with every carry. That is the end of the first half. And Marshall halfway to their first ever state champion. David Craig. And then again, this coming against might be the best Permian team ever. That's saying something. Marshall possession for the first half, 16 plays, showed what they would be about today after the opening kickoff, and then no more than 4 plays on their last 4 drives, and that showed what Permian's defense wanted to be all about today.
I think the big adjustments coming from the coaching staff and the players. I think they've gotten to the sidelines and done an outstanding job of adjusting to the strength of Marshall's running game.
Awaiting Henry Wood's kick. Wood's a strong leg. We saw him in the warm-ups going from 50 yards out through. This one a dribbler and returned nicely up to the 38-yard line. Bubba Jones, 17 yards on the return. And the Panther offense set up, hoping for the tying score. Their first half drive chart, 1 play, a fumble by Hamilton, 5 plays for the score, 3 plays, a fumble by Case, 10 plays, and the interception by Howard Short. Only the 6th that Stormy Case has thrown this year. defense last week forced 5 holding turnovers. They converted 2 for touchdowns. Hamilton off the quick pitch. Belted after maybe 2. Mazer, the strong side defensive tackle. Mike Mazer, 6'1 junior, 215-pounder, whose uncle, John Mazer, coached the first game ever in Texas Stadium for the New England Patriots against Dallas.
The same play they started the ball game with. If you'll recall, it was a play that Hamilton broke into the secondary and then fumbled on. That time, Marshall kind of setting the tone over there. One of these teams is going to come out and lobby for the momentum in the beginning of the second half.
Hamilton for 2, 2nd and 8. Patriots, by the way, blown away in that game back in 71, 44-21. Hamilton to the 45 and belted at that point by Mark Buchik. Hard-hitting safety. It'll be 3rd down and call it 4 needed.
That is your tempo setter. You can look at the sidelines at the end of this hit, and when Buchik delivers the blow here, this tells everybody, hey, folks, the soda pop time is over with. We're out of the locker room. It's time to play football and win the state championship.
3rd and 4, quick pass, caught, 1st down. This is the split-end Kendrick Parrott, his 25th catch of the year. Usually, when they go to the air, they go much deeper than that. His playoff average, only 17 yards per catch. His seasonal average, over 20 yards per catch. 4 touchdowns.
But at this point in the ballgame, it's nice to go underneath a little bit now. Pull the defense into you, draw that secondary up to your wide receivers, and then all of a sudden Will Wagner runs past the free safety for the big one.
Derek Cook Jr., 1st and 10, Marshall's 47. Pitch to Hamilton. And maybe 1. He worked hard for that 1. Carl Judith from nose tackle. He's the man who takes credit for nicknaming the Nigerian Nightmare in Duque Kalu. Usually double, triple teams. Those numbers are down this year, but his coach vision team thinks that he should be major college talent somewhere.
Controlling the offensive lineman. That time, the defensive lineman of Marshall, they get in touch with their man, contact, make contact, get down the line of scrimmage and into the play.
1 yard on 1st down. After the long count, overthrow, and that one again intended for Parrott, but it'll be 3rd and 9. It says that Permian football is 90% mental, 10% physical. They work on that mental part at halftime.
And it's so important that coaches, before you leave the locker room, and players, probably more than players, they get each other and they say, hey, look, let's establish this thing. Let's get out there and hit them. Let's create something. Make a play. Both teams looking to find out who's going to take control of the 3rd quarter, because this half here could fly straight by before anybody knows what happened.
Everybody in this stadium standing on 3rd and call it 10. Open man is Parrott, 1st down, 32-yard line. Case evidently saying we got to get somebody other than Wagner involved, so they'll have 2 wideouts to worry about. Parrott's been his man in this 3rd quarter.
The play-action pass allows time for Case to get into the pocket and find the receiver. Misdirection, you got confusion with your linebackers. It keeps them underneath. Parrott had gone up the field about 12 yards and then going towards the sidelines and just makes sure that he catches the ball.
Off right tackle, big yardage, John Williams. Inside the 10, 1st and goal. Craig, this is one of those guys who've got to be bigger than they say. That's not 160 pounds. That looks like 180 minimum, slamming his way for 23 yards.
Yeah, I agree. That's 160. I played at 260. The power sweep to the right side. Something Marshall showed a lot of professionalism with in the 1st quarter. Determination, bouncing off. He almost makes it to the end zone on that play.
Only 1,000 1,000-yard stop or more ever in Permian history. Just inside the 10-yard line, Jason Berlin went in motion, pitched to Hamilton, and Malcolm Hamilton down near the 5-yard line. Another tackle by Carl Junick. Don't look for anything fancy from this point on in. He needs one touchdown to break the Permian season scoring record. He has 30, which ties the record. 29 have been on the ground, one through the year. He's had at least 100 yards in every playoff game so far. Hamilton for 3, second and goal from the 6. Williams walked in for the touchdown. PAT away from a 14-14 tie. Smash mouth football, Craig.
It worked on that series. You got the top sweep coming now, and we'll hold it right here. You need to watch at the top right of your screen. The linebackers, they have got to be able to get outside as the play continues here. Once he gets the pitch, you'll get a nice job by number 7 coming up, Kutzkin, and he forces the play back inside. But the linebackers that we described are not out there. There's a clean alley straight to the end zone.
John Williams follows it for his 12th touchdown. 14-14, 7:48 to go in the third week.
Pursuit. He comes out, and he's the man that cuts off the inside pursuit.
Wow. That makes it 14-all after the 9-play, 62-yard touchdown drive. John Williams, 12th touchdown of the year. Capped it off, and he's got his quarterback to thank. And Shane Wells' kick wobbles to the 15. Will Unger returns out across the 30-yard line. And now the challenge for Marshall again to answer.
And they're going to see a flying around defense. They're going to come out and be swarming to the football, maybe even more aggressively than the opening of the ball game, because they know they've got to stop the running game.
Marshall, the third-place finisher in their district, because with Holmes injured, they lost 2 of their final 3 games. Third in District 28 5A. Holmes on first down, no gain, they swarm. Might have lost one. Comer made the first contact and down to Dan on the sideline.
Thanks a lot. I am with Stony Case, not Stormy, not to be confused with Stormy. Stormy Case is his older brother. You started for University of New Mexico this year. Tell me, is this mojo magic that we are now witnessing? You know better than others. You're the last one that quarterbacked this team to a national championship in '89. Is this mojo magic?
Yeah, they made a few adjustments at halftime, and it's showing the second half, and they're doing a great job in the second half. They drove it right down and scored the first drive, and that's what they needed. They've had too many turnovers in the first half, and this is mojo magic right here.
Craig and Dave O'Stairs just pointed out that your brother not only runs the football and throws the football, but he will block as well. Is it all out for you guys here when you get to this state championship game?
Exactly. I mean, every play on this team gives 110%, and you know, as far as the quarterbacks go, it's tradition for the quarterback to go and block, and Stormy does it as well as anybody does, and you know, this is great for him to, you know, come to show what he has, and for the whole team to just, you know, lay it out on the lines this time.
All right, Stony Case, good luck to you in your collegiate career, and good luck to your little brother out there right now. Back upstairs, Dave, Craig.
3rd and 7 from the 33. Reza. Nothing there. This is how they make up for their lack of size. They play juiced every snap.
A lot of pursuit. They stretched the defense out that time. Scott Cherry was right over there with him. Now, you've got to be able to get up into the crease. There was one back up inside. The ball carriers for Marshall have got to take it upon themselves. We've seen Permian's running backs. They're taking it to the defense. Right now, Marshall's got to pick it up themselves.
Noster, very short side of the foot. Panthers will have it in Ram territory. At the 47-yard line, we're tied at 14, and we'll be right back at Texas Stadium.
1-800-847-6993. Don't miss this opportunity. Call now.
David Byzantine used to coach out in West Texas 9 years at Andrews, and he's seen a lot of Permian teams. He says this is by far the best. He's not alone in that opinion.
A lot of folks asked the question from Tam Hollingshead, is this the best defense you've ever had at Permian? And he doesn't want to say that to put the pressure on the players, but if they win this ball game and shut Marshall down at the end, that will be the topic.
Only a 16-yard punt by Sean Noster. Great field position for the Panthers, and up the middle, Hamilton. Extra effort to the 40. 7 yards on first down. Noster and Kuchik on the tackle. And they are just dripping adrenaline in the second half. Hamilton, 72 yards. Holmes, 84. That's for the tight battle all day, and you will see both of those gentlemen on the major college level, guaranteed.
Hamilton right now is really motivating his ball club. The entire sidelines after that run there went nuts, and that's the kind of thing you do. You keep everybody juiced up and the momentum on your bench.
Hamilton once again, he's going to be close and appears to have the first down. At the conclusion of the game, Craig and I will be selecting the most valuable player for this year's 5A Division II championship game. Hamilton, a pretty good candidate if the Panthers can pull it out.
Power football, good vision, knowing that he's got to bounce out one hole wider, 2 hands on the ball. Notice that. You think he didn't hear the coach talking at halftime?
The difference this year is people like Hamilton, the speed they have at the skill spots. The effort has always been there. More talent than usual in 91. Williams on the slant, cuts outside and picks up an extra 3 to the 32. Flowers chased him. And the clock stopped at 4:19 in the third.
Team speed. Usually, if you get somebody heading east and west like this, he's not going to pick up anything. He wants to go into the hole, draws the defense in there, and then gets back outside. Flowers just able to get an arm on it. He still picks up some yards. That's pretty impressive for a sophomore.
6 yards plus per carry. The only question is, why did it take him so long to be elevated to the starting lineup 2 weeks ago?
It just takes time. I mean, we're talking Odessa Permian. Probably some pretty good backs standing behind him right now.
Garrett, first down to the 21. It was Wagner in the first half, and it's Kendrick Parrott in the second half. Todd Siebert made the tackle, 11 yards.
At this point, Marshall's got to regroup. They've got to find out some way to really come back, and whether it be a blitz, something to create some aggressiveness from their ball club.
And toward that end, they call time. Fourth 13, third quarter, 14 all. And we'll be right back after this message from our local station. Timeout with 4:13 to go in the third. First and 10 Panthers, 21-yard line. 14-14 tie. Malcolm Hamilton. If he doesn't slip, he might score. He's out of bounds at the 12. It will be 2nd and 1.
This is a power sweep that they've been very effective with here in the second half. They scored the touchdown on it earlier. Stormy Case, he leads the way, pulling them into the hole. Not many times you think quarterbacks lead the way. Watch his right foot. He cuts off the left foot. It slips. As a ball carrier, you've got to cut on the outside foot or you go down. Obviously a tough deal. Wet carpet and all, but you've got to use that outside leg to make the cut.
And Williams was rather than Hamilton. What do you think was said on that Marshall timeout over there?
He reminded his defense, fellas, you're a great ball club. Go out there and play hard.
So in motion over X's and O's. 2nd and 1. And first down definitely. Should be probably 1st and goal. Hamilton somewhere around the 9-yard line at the bottom of that pile.
When you get inside the red zone, 20-yard line in, most ball clubs have tendencies. That might have been another thing that he told his team. Hey, remember that when they get to the 2nd and 4, 2nd and 3, here's what they like to do. Some momentum, some emotional lobbying going on the sidelines, and some X's and O's. But right now, they've got to get into the backfield of Permian.
At the 10, 1st and goal. And John Williams bounces off Buchik for the go-ahead touchdown. He's got the Dickerson mask, but he looked more like Earl Campbell on that run. If he's 160, you're 360.
Hey, that's a hard-running man. I'm telling you, that's called taking it to the defense there.
First lead of the afternoon for Permian. And a whistle. There was movement on the left side of the Permian line, and this all of a sudden becomes an important mark-off. To 14, the extra point, all important. Well, mainly what we have is feedback, but it is illegal motion. Eric Levin, the guard, also shaken up.
Yeah, that's one of those hits, I think, where you don't quite know where you're at. Your teammate jumps off sides. Eric Levin, he's probably want to tell his teammate, hey, man, don't jump off sides, because then they hit me in the head, and I didn't know what I was doing.
Well, he is wobbling. He is just barely making it over the side with help.
You can tell Lubin right now that Santa Claus is coming tonight. He'd believe you.
And so 5 yards back, Wells will try the extra point. Shouldn't be a problem. He's got range up to 44 yards. And this kick from 25 yards out is good. All Mojo with 2 second-half touchdowns. John Williams counting them up. 21-14.
Same play they scored on earlier. The difference in this play is how many times do you see a quarterback able to get out and block for you? That's an extra man in the play. It's a significant difference in what normally you see in a toss sweep. Then John Williams, 36, gets in the hole, boom, behind his shoulder pass. If you're a defender, you got to get out on those thighs and stop the leg drive.
7-play drive. They only had to go 47 because of the 16-yard punt. And Williams' second touchdown of the day to give Permian their first lead of the day. They run the same offense from 6th grade on up, so it's drilled into them year after year. The execution of the technique is second nature by the time they get to this point.
I think that'd get a little boring. I mean,
Winning was never boring at all.
I can hear that, understand that.
Bouncer picked up by Unger to the 28-yard line. Now, it has been a while since Marshall's done anything on offense. As we told you a moment ago, they have 1 total yard in this second half. That return for 16 sets them up 72 yards away. And after the last drive, 13 total yards, outscoring their opponents 143-13 in the third quarter this year.
I just sense that the ball carriers for Marshall, they've got to run harder. They've got to make something happen to motivate their offensive linemen.
Full house. And to give to Anthony Holmes. He has got to dig him out of this hole. Let's go down to Dan Debenham.
Thank you very much. Just want to update you on Eric Lubin, the offensive guard that was taken off the field. The trainers were checking his left knee, checking out his anterior cruciate. They found that there to be no damage, at least initially. They think that he will play again. Let's go back upstairs to you.
Okay, that's the senior guard, 5'9", 182 pounds, who was injured on the first attempt at the extra point on the procedure penalty. 2nd and 7. And Reza has found the going very tough since his touchdown. Lubin trying to walk it off. Good sign. Wouldn't you agree that it's got to be Holmes who's going to do it? This is a team with virtually no passing attack. Reza is their short yardage specialist who gets the call here. And Holmes has been their big play man all year.
And look at all the white jerseys around the ball carriers. Maybe if you're a coach for Marshall, you say, look, what about a reverse, a halfback pass, something to take advantage of that aggressive defense.
112-6 total yardage this half. 2:15 in the third. 3rd and 5. Full house again. Holmes again. Out of an ankle tackle. And the first down. Mark him out of bounds, 41-yard line. Wagner on the tackle from safety. They need a lot more where that came from, don't they?
This right here is called setting yourself up for a good call later in the game. Hollingshead saying, hey, look, there's some holding going on inside there, fellas. Make sure that you call the thing. It may have been a questionable one, but the next time, maybe that mojo comes into play and they make the call. Good job of keeping your feet up and your vision downfield as well. This is a big play. I mean, getting the first down there was crucial.
Holmes up near 100 yards. Only one back has gained 100 against Permian all year. That was Brad Gibbons of Odessa High School. And to the 45, Holmes. Sam Brooks. Jerry Sims, the right side, tackle in combination on the tackle. That gets it right at 100 yards for the day.
Sense a little more aggression in the way he's running the ball right now. There was a little tentativeness in that the last several carries. And he's finally getting it back. You've got to get back into the groove as a player, and he can lead them there.
They've got other people, but when he was out, remember they were 2-2. They're 11-0 with him this year. Just a 500 team without him. Back from a thigh injury late regular season. To the 49-yard line on 2nd down. It'll be 3rd and a couple. Clock down near 1 minute to go.
We've talked about throughout the ball game not having any penetration into the backfield. Permian has been getting back there really in the 2nd and the 3rd quarter. But you cannot allow anybody there. They come off the football. Nobody gets into the backfield, at least over on the play side. And that's a plus. I believe they got some positive yards out of it. Almost jumped off sides.
Only 2 on 3rd down. Anthony Holmes on the spin has 2 plus 3. And into Panther territory, Sims again on the tackle. Trying to burst Mojo's balloon here. Holmes could have been swarmed by all the recruiters, but he's got to credit his coach. David Byzantine asked the recruiters to lay off until after this game, and he said for the most part they have abided by that. And they're coming from everywhere. Texas, Oklahoma, Baylor, Pittsburgh, Iowa, and a lot more interested in this game. Holmes inside the 40. This is how he ran on that first possession.
It is reminiscent of that opening drive that was so successful for them, took them out for the touchdown.
And at the end of the 3rd quarter, some hope on the Rams side. And by score, Permian Championship is brought to you by Pepsi Cola, makers of Pepsi Mountain Dew Mud Slice.
Throughout the third quarter, Permian's defense had been stretching out the ball carriers, particularly Anthony Holmes to the outside. Now this time you'll see number 33, as he stretches the defense, he sees the daylight and the crease, and he'll get up in it behind his blocker, Reza. Good job of finally getting north and south after you've stretched out the defense.
Through 3 quarters. Rushing yardage, just a slight edge for Marshall. They have absolutely nothing through the air. They've only tried the one pass. They still have the edge in possession time, but that's been narrowed. And that Permian-dominated third quarter. So the 3 Permian turnovers have been overcome. And they lead 21-14 as we go to the fourth quarter.
Nobody's sitting in their seats.
They haven't been this entire half. This has been Mark Saldana's drive, and this is the way he took him down the field on the opening drive of the afternoon. First man through, Reza. Leaps to the 25. Little different look that time. He goes for 14 on the quick hitter.
Last 2 or 3 plays, they've been successful outside from the I formation. The defense has got to worry about getting outside to stop Holmes. Little trap right up the middle and then the movement. Not only is the fullback getting in the inside, he can pick his feet up and try to make people miss. Only a junior.
How big might he be next year? He's 12 already. Ormond in motion, first down pitch. Anthony Holmes, short side of the field. His quarterback throws the block, and he'll be close for a first down if the flag is against the Panthers. That one goes for 11 if it stands. Permian is a face mask against Marshall. Holding offense.
Right side of your screen. Let's see if we can find out who's doing the holding there. Kind of hard to tell there. I couldn't see it myself, but
See, maybe that was set up by that argument Hollingshead had late in the third quarter.
I'm telling you, if you're a head coach and you jump on officials and you treat them jump on them in the proper way, the questionable calls go your way. I believe that.
So wipe out 11 yards for Holmes, and it is first and 20. Saldana, play action. And he fools no one. Incomplete, intended for Holmes. Second pass they've tried all day. Play action. They set it up well, and Permian still read it perfectly.
Good coaching. And for Marshall, when you run the play action pass, the key to that is to make sure that you sell the run. They probably pull out of the play before they get the sell in there and not convince the defense. They're lucky this thing wasn't intercepted.
Really are, so second and 20. 21-14, Odessa Permian. Holmes waits for the block. They develop. And he'll pick up 5, and it'll bring up third and a bunch. Kelly finally closed from left corner on Anthony Holmes.
By running the play so much outside, if Holmes can throw the football, we're talking about an opportune time. You let the tight end or that wing back slip inside and they go back to the flat. This is a successful play. They pick up 5 or 6 yards. Good job blocking that time by your quarterback as well. Inside you're blocking, but it's not enough to get good penetration down the field.
Good percentage on third down, 5 out of 9, but this will be by far the toughest they have tried to pick up. And out of the eye, Saldana with a look, going deep, has his man, and it is incomplete for Jason Briggs. Court Peterson might have had a finger on that ball. He was down there with Steve Kelly. Briggs, though, with a step on both of them. And that was a breath away from a tying touchdown.
Back in the pocket, a nice pass. The question is, does anybody get his hand on the ball? Yes. Just deflects it. Now, you're talking inches, and that might be the inches that separates Marshall from the state championship.
Steve Kelly made the play, and we've got a timeout with 10:13 to play with the Panthers on top. We'll be right back. Far West Texas is being hammered territory, but they've used that as their rallying cry, and they have been too legit to quit today. Trailed until late third quarter. Sam Hollingshead's team on top now, 21-14, and Marshall has used its next to last timeout to talk about a 4th and 15. But you got to think that if they didn't get that one for 6 and it was all set up perfectly, just a slightly underthrown pass is going to be real tough now.
I guess at this point, you just try to get all you can out of the play, and then your defense is going to have to come back onto the field. If you don't get the first down, they're going to have to shut down Permian.
Siebert wide right, Ormond slot right. You wondered if Holmes could throw. He looks to throw, fires. It is incomplete. Bobbled and dropped by Siebert. They had a bunch of white jerseys around him. He threaded it.
This isn't the time, though, that you run the halfback pass. You run the halfback pass on 2nd down and 4, not 4th down. He's got to sell it. Coaches have to teach that runner to go get the ball, put it under your arm, sell the one, 3, 4, 5 hard steps, draw the secondary up, and then let the ball go. It's a nice pass because he can throw the ball. You got to sell the run to draw the secondary.
Panther defense holds, and they'll try and grind out as much time as they can. Flag thrown as Williams carries to the 35-yard line. Flag where you usually look for holding. And that's what it is.
Hey, that flag came from the secondary. That was your 20-yard bomb by the official.
And so 1st and 20.
That referee will have to ice his shoulder down tomorrow.
Daniels, the tight end. Wagner to shove the play here. We haven't seen him in the second half. Parrott would have gone through the air. I believe we won't see him. Last 2 drives, they have dug deep within themselves to tie and then go on top. Parrott and Wagner both wide left. Case again rolls that way. Has Parrott wide open for the sliding catch at the 39-yard line. And that's going to be 19 of the 20 they needed. That's how you take care of 1st and 20.
And that comes back to recognition. They've rolled left when they've thrown the ball most of the time today. Probably 90% that I would guess right here. And you got to know what's going to happen into the secondary. You've got to pick up. If you're in a zone, don't just drop deep. You got to get out almost like a matched zone and see who's in front of you and go get close to him.
Bring that spot back a yard. Bring him over to 38, 2nd and 2. Hamilton will take care of that and more to the 47, 1st down. Down we go to Dan Debenham.
Thanks a lot. The momentum has certainly turned for the Panthers. And if there's anybody that might know this team, it's this man right here, Skip Baldwin, sports director at KMID TV in Odessa. Does this surprise you? Down at the half, they came out steamrolling.
Oh, if you know anything about Odessa Permian football, these guys never give up. They believe they can always win a game no matter how far they're down. They never give up. And you see what's happened here in the second half.
Is this what Mojo's all about then?
Mojo is hard to explain, but Mojo is dedication, hard work, and believing that you can win no matter what the obstacles are in front of you.
Well, right now they are leading by 7, 21-14, and they may have their 6th state championship in hand. Thanks a lot, Skip Baldwin. Let's go back upstairs to David Craig.
Well, Marshall thinking about having to go to the end. It's Brian Zatarain over there warming up. And he's warming up David Salmon, whose turn it will be to go in as quarterback. And when he does, he hopes they're still down only 7. Williams stopped for a loss of 1 by Mike Gant, 2nd and 11. On the draw play, Hamilton. Boy, he is
to low. To the 43. He'll be close to the first down.
Malcolm Hamilton on the draw. Does a lot of this on his own. He stays after it, keeps his legs out going the vision behind the shoulder pads. They do not get to his legs. We're at a point in the ball game with 7.5 minutes to go that plays like that get you state championship rings in a piece of history.
16 carries for 90 yards. Over 1,800 yards in his senior year. And the dive for the first. At the 7-minute mark. First down, Permian. Your 78 team, Houston Stratford, in their state championship run. A lot of plays like this for you when you're ahead and just trying to stay ahead.
And it's a killer instinct too. I mean, you get the ball, you know what you got to do. Your offensive linemen, they're in a groove down there. The juices are flowing. There's no fatigue. This is the last game of the year. The last game for most players on the field if you're a senior.
Said trying to become the 5th Permian coach with a state title under his belt. Williams, biggest weapon in the second half has been the sophomore, and he's out of bounds at the 33. Will Flowers wrapped him up. He picked up 7, and that stops the clock at 6:32. Marshall did such a good job tackling the ball in the first half. They got away from that. They need to go back to it now.
Or maybe they were trying in the second half to tackle the ball so much that they've been missing some of these ball carriers. That goes both ways. If you tackle the football, oftentimes you'll lose the ball runner.
We're beginning with Gene Mayfield at 65, followed by Bartosh Wilkins and Gary Gaines back in 89. Everybody that's coached this team has won state. Is that pressure or what?
Oh, you think you and I could go do it? Give us a year at it?
Hamilton, first down, 27. Buchik on the tackle. Today's 5A Division II championship coverage is made possible by the University of Texas at Austin on behalf of the University Interscholastic League and TVG Sports. Any rebroadcast or videotape reproduction of this telecast without the written consent of the University Interscholastic League or TVG Sports is prohibited. David Byzantine's going to stay in this area tonight, watch his son graduate from TCU, Michael. And he hoped to make it a double. He hoped to take a state title to that ceremony over in Fort Worth. Looking less and less likely. First and 10 pitch. Hamilton to the 23. Howard short on the tackle. This is a guy who knows what this is all about. Keeping the drive going under 6 minutes.
At any point here, I would not be surprised at all to see some kind of misdirection play. Marshall's flying to the football. Maybe you get a little relaxed mentally in your responsibilities. Here comes a reverse. Here comes a play-action pass. Go out of the power eye, throw it over the middle.
2nd and 6. Williams. Big hit came immediately from John Robinson, the weak inside linebacker. And that is the best this Marshall defense has looked on this drive. That'll bring up 3rd down.
The inside linebackers were able to get into the running lane. The quarterback that time wasn't able to cut him off. Good job of Robinson getting down the line of scrimmage. When you go 100%, it's amazing how many plays you can get to as a ball player.
Their last 3 state titles, all won on this field at Texas Stadium. 80 against Port Arthur Jefferson, the tie against Beaumont Prince, the half championship at 84, the win over Aldine in 89. And they hope to add one here in 91. Case complete, Wagner out of bounds with another first down.
Case has had plenty of time to throw this ball today. One time that he had any kind of pressure and he threw the interception right before first half came to a conclusion. Will Wagner and the wide receivers of Permian are finding the big pockets in that zone. They're just moving into them and then catching the football. It's pass and catch.
Whatever that man said, they took to heart at halftime. They have been a different team 13. And a flag as Hamilton carries for 3. This will be motion Permian, and they'll bring it back, and it'll be 1st and 15. Just about to the state of desperation now for Marshall.
Particularly when you consider that you're a running ball club, you're not that good at passing, although we look back to the 3rd down pass that they almost make the touchdown, the tip ball. Motion, offense, still 1st down.
I think if they don't pull this out, they're going to look back at that play, and they'll say, that was our shot right there.
And the 4th down, the 4th and 7 touchdown pass in the 1st quarter by Permian. I mean, that's huge.
And Hollingshead, graduate of SMU, longtime defensive assistant before he was elevated as the head man last year. He's only lost twice since. Williams on the sweep. Hamilton, a big block, wipes out Gann. Flowers drives him out at the 13. Gain of about 6. 2nd and 9. 4:17 to play.
John Williams with that old face mask on there. I guess he doesn't want that defense to know where he's thinking about going. He's smart for a sophomore. Stretch the defense. Good blocking outside. They knock the corner down for them. Allows the perimeter. Now, if you're Williams, you want to think to yourself down the road, slide, stay in bounds, keep the clock moving.
Most of those yards in the 2nd half for John Williams. Hamilton, the man in motion, and they give it to the wingback, and Tim Ross did not fool the nose tackle, Carl Junick. Big 270-pounder. Call that a loss of 1. Junick really stuffing the hole, and it'll be 3rd and 10.
Tremendous hamstring. Can you believe the man's on the ground, reaches up, holds onto the jersey, pulls him down? It takes a lot of body movement, and when you got somebody running over there, he's not a big old man. It's like a little gnat going up in the hole, but you still got to reach up, hold on, and say, "Come on down, Nelly."
Dinwiddie Ross at 125 pounds. That's less than half the weight of Junick. Case inside the 5 on the catch by Malcolm Hamilton, and it will be 1st and goal. They needed 11, they got 12.
This time, Hamilton is able to get out into the flat. Juszczyk's trying to follow behind. No chance at all of anybody coming in and making that play. Just good job of being patient and waiting for your ball carrier to get out into the flat so that he's open.
Well, we talked about it at the outset. Last year, Permian not allowed in the playoffs, a UIL infraction about off-season workouts on probation. Case said we're going to win it for the seniors last year who didn't get to go to state. And this is Alan Scrambler who reached the 1 before he was driven back by Flowers and Fuchik. 2nd and goal as the clock winds down on the hopes of Marshall to win their first state championship. Scrambler, their 3rd option in this alignment. So his numbers for the year. He scored 5 touchdowns. He's a junior. Ian Williams will be back next year. From the 1, 2nd and goal. Full house, and it's Scrambler for the touchdown. And if you're wearing black and white in Texas Stadium, the party has begun. difference with 2:14 to play, up 13, but you never know. From 14 to 7 down, 20 unanswered points, and Scrambler gets in easily here.
He draws the defense to the middle of the field, and because of his quickness, he bounces outside in 6.
Speed, 158 looks to be about right for him, and that should be the touchdown that clinches the 91 state championship with only 2:14 to go, 27-14. Unger, right corner of your screen with Siebert in the middle, and Anthony Holmes also back there. The little dribbler returned by Ormond for about 11 out to the 41-yard line. Now Marshall this year averaged 35 yards per game passing and 1 touchdown pass every 5 games. Even so, David Byzantine said they are confident, even behind as they are here, that they can move the ball through the air. You can see all Permian in the second half. Marshall up 7 at the half. They have really had only 1 threat since halftime.
And I'd have to agree that this defense could be considered one of the best of all time. I haven't seen all of them, but with the exception of the opening drive, they have been pretty salty.
Flag, this will go against Marshall. Well, Carlos Reyes has played this game with a broken hand. And now he's got company on the Permian side. Let's go down to Dan Debenham.
Thank you very much. Speaking of broken hands, it is good news, bad news for Permian. They will apparently win their 6th title. However, Malcolm Hamilton, it appears on the last play, broke his right hand. He says he cannot move it. It is now being taped. I don't believe we'll see him back in the game, that's for sure. Malcolm Hamilton, good news, bad news once again, as it appears he broke his right hand when he caught that pass down close to the end zone. Back to you guys upstairs.
That's one of the worst positions for a ball carrier because you're carrying the ball in your hand. Helmets, face mask hit you on those bones right there. And if you feel your hand, you can imagine having a hard steel face mask drilling into it. Ball carriers so often damage their hands because of that.
Well, they're looking at 1st and 15. Not sure what the discussion is about here.
Put 6 seconds back on the clock. It was a dead ball foul. 6 seconds.
They ran the clock and the whistle blew prior to the snap, so it's 2:09 to go instead of 2:03.
Will Wagner's in the ball game right now. The wide receiver playing free safety.
They have combined for 180 yards. Hamilton 20 carries for 104. Williams 12 for 76. And they scored 3 of the 4 touchdowns between them. Holmes desperately spinning out to the 44. And another flag down. That'll stop the clock at 2:01 to play. And just the fact that they don't throw every down shows you how little they have in their passing arsenal.
Yeah, I look back at the pass that was almost completed, and that was really a pretty good throw.
Well, around the state, the UIL 4A championship game, A&M consolidated 28-0 over Carthage. And in 3A, Grosbeck shutting out Burnett 7-0. 2A goes to Schulenburg and another shutout over Albany. Class A, Memphis over Oakwood 21-14. And 6-man, Fort Hancock over Jack Pardiz's old team. He won't like that. He played at Cristobal, and they are still playing the 6-man brand. A minute 46 and counting. 1st and 22. Salmon through the air. Caught. This is Ormond to the 46. And the clock rolls at a minute 32. 16 yards on the completion, but they got to start airing it out. That's not going to get them anywhere.
Or throw it underneath to one of your running backs, Holmes. Maybe let him scramble and do some things with the ball in the open field.
They've been here before. 64, 12, and 5 in the postseason. 11 straight. This is going to make it 12 straight playoff wins. And in all the last 2 years they've gone to the postseason, 5 and maybe 6 state championships in the 33-year history of the school. Still on the ground, Holmes.
about that statistic. 5 state championships. This makes 6. We're talking about Texas. Some great competition year in and year out. And every kid that begins to grow up starts working towards a state championship. So it's pretty impressive what they've done.
Our most valuable player, sophomore running back John Williams. 2 second-half touchdowns, turning the tide in favor of the Panthers. And on behalf of TVG Sports, John Williams. Those numbers are MVP. The Rams have called their final timeout with 46 seconds to play. We'll be right back. This has been just a continued celebration since the clinching touchdown.
It's been a continued domination in the second half. That's pretty impressive right there. 189 to 60. That defense, Mojo did it this afternoon in the second half.
Marshall out of timeout. Salmon knocked down. With 42 seconds to go, they are down to their last snap. It will be 4th and 6, and it would take more than just one miracle for them to pull this thing out now. But on their behalf, this was a team that lost 2 of their last 3 in the regular season after dominating San Antonio high school football up until that point. Holmes with the injury, Byzantine finally got him back. And they stormed through with 3 shutouts in their first 5 playoff games. First trip ever here. And I don't think it's been a lack of preparation or a lack of talent. It has been just a case where you got to hand it to Permian.
Byzantine did an outstanding job. And like I told him this week, I said, you know, how many coaches punch the clock daily for years and never get to the big match?
Last gasp for the Rams, and Salmon goes down. Incomplete pass, the rule is. At every level of football, you hear coaches say it's tough to get there. It's even tougher to stay there. That's what Permian has done with all these different coaches. They've stayed there.
Well, you can imagine a kid in Odessa growing up, driving around with their parents, going to a ball game, listening to games on the radio, idolizing high school football players, and dreaming of the day to play and put on that jersey and that helmet. And all of a sudden, they're standing there on the sidelines, and they're going to be the state champions.
It's happening. The dream is coming true.
I played conference championships, Cotton Bowl, and the Super Bowl, and the state championship game by far was my fondest memory. I'd do it over again before I'd ever go to any of the other ones.
Is that right?
No question about it. That's how meaningful the state championship is in Texas.
Well, it won't happen this year for the Marshall Rams. And for Cam Hollingshead and the Panthers, they are 8 seconds away. One more in the books for the Permian Panthers.